So today, lads, the WNBA officially announced basically what the Valkyries are going to be getting. They officially announced the expansion draft for the 13th team. Going to be on December the 6th. So it is going to be interesting. So let's take a read at what the expansion draft actually is. So on December the 6th, which is just over 2 months from now, we will be finding out who will be the first players who will be picked in the expansion draft prior to Valkyries. I'm not sure what story is with the unrestricted free agent as well when it comes to that team. So it says here, the 13 franchise, the Valkyries will be in play in 2025. The Golden State will be able to select from a designated pool of players as determined by each of the current 12 teams. Each of the existing teams will be required to submit to the league office a roster list that includes every player to whom the team has rights. And the deadline for roster submission will be determined later at date, but expected to be 10 days before the expansion draft. Each team's submitted roster list will be required to designate a maximum of 6 protected players for who will not be available for selection in the expansion draft. All other players will be available for selection, which is interesting. And it says here they will have the opportunity to acquire the player contract or negotiating rights to one player from each of the 12 teams, which means if you have a restricted free agent, as in Kennedy Carter, Temi Fagbenle, Dejanay Carrington, you have to then go and protect them. Or Michaela Onyenwere, those type of players. And it says here the Valkyries will only be able to select one player from across the entire league who's eligible to be an unrestricted free agent following the 2024 season. So that's going to be interesting as well. Between the time the players' lists are submitted and designated time on the day before the expansion draft, the Golden State will be permitted to make trades with existing teams. That's an interesting one. So that's really interesting. So basically, they can make trades, which means, I don't know, could they go and somehow make a weird way of this is what I have a feeling is going to happen, is NaLyssa Smith plus whatever Indiana's pick is. So let's just say Indiana's pick is 8 and Golden State get 5. NaLyssa Smith plus 8 for 5. That's my prediction of what's going to happen with NaLyssa Smith. But it's going to be really interesting what they can do with the unrestricted free agents. Could someone like Kelsey Plum go? That's kind of the top tier, because who knows if Vegas go win 3 in a row, or heck, even if she sees the writing on the wall in Vegas, maybe she wants to be the number one option, which she's never going to be with A'ja Wilson on her team. Maybe Kelsey Plum will be an interesting choice for the Valkyries, because she could be the standout. If the Valkyries, I'm trying to think of what players they could get for teams. I'm going to just make a proper long video talking about it, but from the Mystics is you're going to get somebody good. If I was them, I'd look for a Jade Melbourne. If you can get Jade Melbourne from the Mystics, that's huge. Who else is there? From the Fever, you're probably looking at maybe a Damaris Dantas, because I think they're going to probably keep Smith. From the Sky, they're going to probably not really looking at anyone from the Sky. I don't really see them wanting. Heck, you know what? Could Elizabeth Williams be there? Lindsay Allen, maybe. Not a bad player. But I'd say they probably protect Elizabeth Williams. And then you've also got for the who else is there? What other teams? The Atlanta Dream. I'm not sure who they're going to be able to get from the Minnesota Lynx. One of those bench players that's probably not quite as good anywhere else. From the Liberty, I think Niara Sabally might be another really good player they can pick up, because there's no way they're getting any of the starting 5. Or maybe if they keep Niara, you might be able to get Kayla Thornton, which is again a serious player to pick up. So yeah, it is interesting. It is a really interesting one, and it's going to be very interesting to see if this Valkyries team's even going to be the worst team in the W. If they somehow get put in the lottery, Lan Page, or Kiki Iriafen, or they go and land in Isamaro or something. Like, they have a really decent chance of being good. They are not good, sorry. They have a decent chance of not being the worst team in the W. But it's going to be really interesting at that like bottom feeder position, because surely Dallas are going to core Satu. Imagine if Dallas don't core Satu. That would be one of the more interesting ones, because a lot of people are like Satu to go to Fever. If they don't core Satu and Niara gets taken in this draft and they use their one free agency slot on Satu, then you've got the Sabali sisters, who are going to be a good WNBA 4-5. And, Jesus, that would be huge. But it's going to be interesting to see who they take with that unrestricted free agent, because I don't think it's going to be a small name. Like, unless players all go back, like Kelsey Plum has not signed any extension. There's no guarantee that it's not going to be a Kelsey Plum. And this might suit a Kelsey Plum. Like, she's a big name. It's Golden State. Like, if you're going to make more money long term off the court being in Golden State. To be fair, Vegas is a big market as well. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting, because I don't think it's going to be a small name free agent. I think the free agent they're going to sign is going to be a big name free agent. But at the same time, like, it's going to have to be a free agent that's willing to be cool with losing for like a year or two. So it's either going to be someone at the very end of their career or like a young unrestricted free agent. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting. If I was one of these players, like say if I was like 28 years old and I was like a top tier free agent, I probably would consider going to the Valkyries, for the reason of, as much as anything, they've got Joe Lacob. They've got like a good training facility. They've already sold 15,000 season tickets. So they're going to have full houses for every single game next year. And like Golden State, everyone knows Golden State's going to be a good location long term. So if I was in my 30s, I probably wouldn't sign there short term anyway. But they can also, the fact is that you can have the one unrestricted free agent before everything. And afterwards, you can start to look for restricted and unrestricted free agents. So there's no guarantee that, like, let's just say hypothetically, with the way the contracts go, if they sign Kelsey Plum, they can still go and sign another unrestricted free agent. Like, there's no guarantee you can't come out with, like, say, Kelsey Plum and somebody. If Kelsey Plum and another max player, then a bunch of just really good rookies. Hey, they could say, you know what, screw it. We're going to take Jade Melbourne. We're going to take Grace Berger. They're our 2 point guards. Then we're going to look to see if we can take Michaela Onyenwere from the Sky. Those level of players, and then you're suddenly like, okay, we're kind of onto something. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.